All right, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to the explainer that is, honestly, going to completely cure your interview anxiety by totally changing how you view the entire process. Look, if you've ever felt your heart start racing, your palms get sweaty, or your brain just absolutely freeze the exact second an interviewer asks you a question, you are definitely not alone. We have literally all been there, and it's a deeply uncomfortable feeling, right? But today, we're going to break down the exact mechanics of what's really happening in that room and how you can take total control of the conversation. So naturally, we tend to treat interviews as these stressful, high-stakes, pass-or-fail memory tests. We sit at home, we try to memorize scripts, job titles, all our past achievements, and these quote-unquote perfect phrases just waiting to deploy them on command. But here is the ultimate mythbuster for you. Thinking of an interview as a memorization puzzle is exactly what causes that overwhelming anxiety. It's just the completely wrong framework, and honestly, it's setting you up for failure the second you sit down. Take a look at this brilliant definition from our source material. The interviewer isn't actually looking for a perfectly memorized script. I mean, they don't want a robot. What they are doing is evaluating a window into how you think under pressure. They're wondering, can you organize your thoughts? Do you stay honest when you get a curveball and frankly just don't know the answer? It's an evaluation of your real-time thinking process, not your ability to confidently recall a rehearsed paragraph. Think of the old electricity board in Karachi. When the power flickers, the problem isn't always the bulb you can see, right? The real issue might be in the wiring, the load, or some connection hidden entirely behind the wall. The question the interviewer asks you, that's just the flickering surface bulb. The real test is the hidden system underneath, your core thought process, and exactly how you approach solving problems. Okay, moving into our first major topic, decoding the hidden job. The crucial point here is that we really must peel back the onion and learn how to read the hidden job behind the words. So every question basically has two layers. Think of it like an envelope. If you only react to the literal words written on the outside of the envelope, you completely miss the functional meaning hidden inside. For example, if someone asks, "Tell me about yourself," well, the literal layer sounds like they want your entire life story from birth to the present day. But the functional layer, the real intent, is checking if you can summarize your professional self in a way that is immediately relevant to this specific role. Because interviewers are actually looking for patterns. It's kind of like watching someone carry a bucket of water to see their pattern of movement, rather than just measuring the water itself. If you keep spilling, the issue is your movement. They are actively scanning for behavioral patterns. Do you take responsibility when things go wrong, or do you dodge it and blame others? Do you explain things clearly, or do you sort of wander when trying to navigate complex ideas? Do you think in extremes, or do you show a nuanced balance? And most importantly, do you actually learn from your experiences? Your answer doesn't just deliver facts, it shows them how you respond to the world. Which brings us to our next area, question types and lenses. Let's move to the next layer and see how this builds into categorizing different types of questions. Now, let's break down that hidden intent. Different questions are really like different rooms in a house. A kitchen serves a completely different purpose than a bedroom, right? If they ask a background question like, "Tell me about yourself," they are checking if you can frame your story to reveal relevance, clarity, and direction. If they ask, "Why this role?" they're checking for real motivation. They want to see your fit and true intention. But if you walk into a question about dealing with a challenge, your answer needs to reveal judgment, resilience, and learning, not just a list of your technical skills. You have to know which room you're standing in. And this means you have to actively change your answer's shape to match the question. It's very much like switching camera lenses to bring a specific scene into focus. A background question needs a story anchored in relevance. A behavior question, that needs a specific example driven by action. A strengths question needs a core trait backed up by concrete proof. And a problem-solving question demands that you clearly outline your process and judgment. If you answer all of these using the exact same robotic style, your interview is going to feel completely flat and disconnected. All right, next up, the three-layer answer. Now that we know what they are looking for, we're going to look at the first principles of building, not memorizing, the perfect answer. A truly strong answer stitches these three threads together into a tightly woven fabric. First, the direct response. You answer plainly and directly so the interviewer immediately feels, okay, they understood me. Second is support. You add a relevant detail or a quick example which proves to them that you have real substance. And third, meaning. You connect it all back to the role so they feel confident that you know exactly why this matters to their company. If you only provide the direct response, your answer has absolutely no weight. But stitch all three together, you become incredibly compelling. But hey, a quick warning here. Keep your answers clean and organized, like a well-sorted tool drawer. Provide just enough detail to make your point believable without causing unnecessary friction. I mean, if you hand someone a drawer full of scattered, mixed-up tools, they just can't trust your system. Say the main point clearly, add your brief context, and then, this is absolutely crucial, stop talking before your answer starts wandering off course. Let's head into our final section, confidence through structure. Let's tie this all together into a mental model that will give you absolute confidence in the interview room. Instead of rushing to speak the exact second the interviewer finishes their sentence, take a micropause. Seriously, take a breath. Run this 4-step internal map to build a coherent response from scratch. First, ask yourself, what is this actually testing? Second, what kind of answer fits that test? Third, what specific experience or example best supports it? And fourth, what is the ultimate takeaway I want them to remember about me? This internal map keeps you completely grounded. You are no longer reciting poetry from memory. You're actively assembling a bridge in real time. And remember, the goal here isn't to sound flawless. Real work is incredibly messy. It's full of trade-offs, delayed approvals, communication breakdowns, and shifting timelines. Interviewers respect genuine judgment far more than robotic perfection. Did you notice the right problem? Did you choose a sensible response when things got tough? Did you actually learn something useful from the mess? Showing that kind of thoughtful judgment makes your answer feel mature, grounded, and intensely human. Which leads us perfectly to this realization. True confidence is not pretending you know everything. It's knowing exactly how to respond when you do not. When you utilize this structured map we've laid out today, you stop treating interviews like hostile traps you just have to survive. Instead, you actually start having meaningful, purpose-driven conversations. You now have the tools to read the room, decode the hidden intent behind the words, and dynamically shape your response. So the big question is, how will you navigate your very next interview conversation? Will you let it be a trap that freezes you up, or will you use it as an opening to show them exactly how your mind works? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this completely transforms how you walk into your next big interview.